All right, so are you ready to dive deep with me today?
Oh.
Because we are going into some serious AI territory.
Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
Okay, cool. So today we're talking about AI Titans clash. OpenAI and DeepSeek's PhD agents redefine 2025 technology.
Wow.
I know, right? This document has got everybody in the tech world buzzing.
Yeah.
And it's totally understandable. It's packed full of mind-blowing concepts.
Like what?
Like PhD-level AI agents
Hmm.
and even self-evolving AI.
Really?
Yeah. And all of this is suggesting that ASI, Artificial Superintelligence, it might be way closer than we think.
Yeah, that's kind of scary.
It is a little bit scary.
Yeah.
But luckily for all of us, we have our amazing expert here with us today to help us try to navigate this rapidly evolving landscape.
Happy to be here.
Awesome. Okay, so tell me what stands out to you the most from this document.
You know what really fascinates me? It's got to be this idea of PhD-level super agents that OpenAI is about to unveil.
Yeah.
Just think about that, AI operating at the same level of complexity as someone with a PhD.
Across multiple fields?
Across multiple fields, yeah.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, it's like having an entire team of some of the world's most brilliant minds all working for you.
Yeah, and all rolled into one powerful AI system.
Exactly.
It is pretty powerful,
Yeah.
especially when you start to consider what DeepSeek is doing,
Oh, DeepSeek, yeah.
the Chinese company.
Yeah, that's right.
They're bringing some pretty serious competition to the table with their R1 and R10 models.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And it seems like they're not just trying to match OpenAI.
No, they're not.
They're actually pushing the boundaries even further.
I think you're right about that.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about that. What's going on with these R1 and R10 models?
Well, the R1 is already on par with what OpenAI has been able to do. But it's the R10 where things get really, really interesting. Because this model, it doesn't just learn.
Oh,
It actually teaches itself, constantly evolving its own strategies without any help from us humans.
whoa. Okay, so hold on a second.
Yeah.
AI teaching itself, evolving all on its own.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the kind of stuff we usually see in like sci-fi movies.
Right.
How does that even work?
It really is pushing the boundaries of what we even thought was possible just a few years ago. The R10 uses a really sophisticated form of reinforcement learning.
Okay.
It's actually similar to how AlphaZero was able to master Go.
Oh, wow.
It basically just plays against itself over and over again, testing out all these different approaches and then refining its strategies based on the outcomes.
So it's kind of like an AI scientist.
Yeah.
It's just conducting endless experiments, constantly learning and improving.
Exactly. It learns from its mistakes just like we do.
That is just wild. And what's even more remarkable is that they did all of this
Yeah.
with way fewer resources than OpenAI or any of their American counterparts.
I know. It's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you know what this really challenges? This idea of a moat in AI development.
Barriers to entry.
Yeah, exactly. Those barriers to entry, they're shrinking incredibly rapidly.
So does that mean that we're looking at a more diverse global AI landscape?
I think so, yeah. A multipolar AI world, if you will.
Does that change the game in any way?
Absolutely. I think it definitely changes the game. I mean, on the one hand, it could lead to faster innovation, right?
Yeah.
More minds working on all of these global challenges that we're all facing.
That's a good point.
But on the other hand,
Yeah.
it also presents a whole new set of complexities that we really haven't had to deal with before.
Like what kinds of complexities?
Well, for one thing, we have to start thinking about the ethical implications.
Yeah.
I mean, more players means a greater potential for AI to be used in ways that we didn't intend, or even worse, in harmful ways.
That's true. That's a very good point.
And it really highlights just how much we need global collaboration on ethical guidelines for AI development. Imagine if every single country just comes up with its own set of rules.
Oh, gosh.
It could lead to all these conflicting standards and unintended consequences that nobody wants.
Yeah, that's a great point.
We need to find a unified approach to this to ensure that no matter who's building it or where they're building it, that AI development is being done responsibly.
I totally agree with you there. Okay, so this all sounds incredibly groundbreaking, but how does it affect me? The average person. How does it affect the average person listening right now?
Well,
Will I be interacting with these PhD-level AI agents in my daily life?
it's coming. It's definitely coming.
Really?
Yeah. The document predicts that by the end of 2025, we're going to see a major shift in the job market. A lot of these administrative tasks are going to become completely automated,
Yeah.
which could lead to some job displacement for sure.
Okay.
But it's also going to create a ton of new opportunities in AI management and oversight.
So we're all going to have to adapt to this new reality.
Not us, yeah. Every single one of us.
So in the future, instead of managing people, we might be managing AI systems.
Exactly. Think about it.
That's quite a shift.
It is a huge shift.
Let's go.
We're going to need people who can train and monitor and optimize these AI agents and make sure that they're functioning safely, ethically, effectively.
Like a whole new kind of workforce.
A whole new workforce, yeah, with a whole new set of skills and responsibilities.
You know, this reminds me of something that was in the document.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
They made a comparison between all of this to the Manhattan Project.
Wow.
The development of the atomic bomb, Jake Sullivan, the outgoing White House National Security Advisor, even drew parallels between the two.
I remember reading that. It's a very sobering comparison.
It is.
It really highlights just how much potential this has, but also how many inherent risks come along with advanced AI.
Exactly.
Just like with the atomic bomb developing, ASI is monumental.
Yeah.
It's going to have such far-reaching consequences, and we can't forget that. It's not just about who gets there first.
Right.
It's also about how we manage that transition and how we ensure that this technology is actually used for the benefit of all humankind.
It really feels like this document is driving home the need for responsible development.
It really is.
Like we just can't rush headlong into the future without even stopping to consider what all the potential ramifications might be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're right.
Wow. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here already.
We have.
We talked about these PhD-level AI agents, self-evolving AI, the shrinking moat in AI development, and this huge looming impact on the job market.
Yeah. It's a lot to take in.
What's your overall takeaway from all of this?
You know what I think it all boils down to? The landscape of AI is changing faster than ever before. We are truly on the cusp of a brand new era. And it's absolutely crucial that we navigate this transition thoughtfully and responsibly. The choices that we make right now, they're going to have profound implications for the future.
Yeah.
And not just for the tech industry, but for society as a whole.
I think that's a great point to pause on. This is some heavy stuff.
It is.
Let's take a moment to digest all of this.
Okay.
Before we move on to the next part of our deep dive. But before we do that, what are your thoughts on all this?
Yeah.
This is a conversation that we all need to be a part of. So let's hear from you. Okay, so we're back. And we're ready to plunge even deeper into this fascinating world of AI. We've talked about all these incredible advancements. But one thing that this document really suggests is that the timeline for reaching ASI keeps getting shorter and shorter and shorter. What was once just a distant future possibility is now feeling a whole lot more imminent. So what are your thoughts on this accelerated timeline?
It's definitely something to think about. The document cites Logan Kilpatrick.
Okay.
He's the product lead over at Google.
Right.
And he describes the path to ASI as a straight shot.
Wow. So instead of a dramatic singularity moment, like we always hear about, we're looking at a more gradual evolution.
Yeah, I think that's a much better way to think about it. It's more like a series of product releases. Each one is just slightly more sophisticated than the last one.
That makes me wonder if the changes are happening so gradually. Will we even recognize the moment when we've actually crossed that threshold into ASI?
It's a good question. And it's definitely a valid concern. I mean, the shift could be so subtle, so incremental, that we might not even fully grasp the magnitude of what's happening until we're well past that tipping point.
Wow.
And that's exactly why I think these conversations that we're having are so important.
I agree.
We need to be proactive about this. We need to anticipate all the potential implications, and we need to do everything we can to shape the future that we actually want to see.
I completely agree with you there. Okay, so speaking of implications,
I
want to circle back to the impact that all of this could have on the job market. The document talks about traditional corporate hierarchies being completely disrupted, with all these new jobs emerging around AI supervision.
Right.
So can you kind of paint me a picture of what that might actually look like?
I'll try. So imagine a future where managing AI systems is just as commonplace as managing human teams.
Wow.
And these AI supervisors, they're going to need a really unique set of skills. It's not just about being tech savvy anymore.
Right.
They need to have a deep technical understanding, of course. But they also need to have really strong communication skills, problem-solving abilities.
Right.
They'll be responsible for training and fine-tuning and overseeing all these different AI agents.
Right.
And they need to make sure that these AI agents are operating safely, ethically, and effectively.
So it's not just about coding skills anymore.
No, not at all.
It's also about understanding all the nuances of AI behavior and AI ethics.
Exactly. It's about bridging that gap between human intuition and machine intelligence.
Mm.
These AI supervisors, they're going to need to be able to anticipate potential biases and navigate ethical dilemmas.
Right.
And ultimately, they'll need to ensure that this incredibly powerful technology is actually used as a force for good.
So it sounds like this kind of shift is going to require a major overhaul of our education and training systems.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
How do we prepare the workforce for this AI-powered future? That's the million-dollar question. I think it starts by recognizing just how important AI literacy really is. It's no longer optional. It's essential.
Yeah.
We need to start integrating AI concepts into our curricula, from primary school all the way through higher education.
Right.
We need to equip people with the critical thinking skills. They need to be able to navigate this new landscape. And they also need to have the ethical awareness to guide its development in a way that's actually responsible.
You know, it's not just about jobs and the economy. This is about society as a whole.
You're absolutely right.
Adapting to this new reality.
It is. AI is going to touch every single aspect of our lives.
Yeah.
Healthcare, education, governance, everything. Nothing will be left untouched. And we need to be prepared for that transformation, technologically, but also socially and ethically. This document really does a fantastic job of highlighting just how important responsible development really is. It's not just about getting to ASI first. It's about making sure we get there in a way that actually benefits all of humanity.
It's definitely a massive undertaking.
It is.
But it feels like the stakes are just way too high to ignore at this point.
Yeah.
We can't just stand by and let the future happen to us. We need to be a part of shaping it.
I agree. We have a responsibility to shape this future and to make sure that AI is being developed in a way that actually aligns with our values. And that means establishing clear ethical guidelines, putting in place robust regulations, and ensuring that we have really strong oversight mechanisms.
Right.
And it means talking to each other, engaging with a wide range of perspectives, and making sure that everyone has a voice in shaping this future.
I think this document does a really great job of highlighting both the potential and the perils of this AI revolution.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on all this, listener? How are you feeling about this future that seems to be approaching faster and faster? And what role do you see yourself playing in all of this?
It's definitely something to think about because ultimately the future of AI isn't something that's just happening to us. It's something that we're all creating together through the choices that we make, through the actions that we take.
That's a really powerful thought. And I think it's a great place to pause for a moment and just let that sink in for a second. Yeah. Before we continue our deep dive into the specific ways that AI is already transforming the world around us. All right, so we've been talking a lot about the big picture AI, stuff like the race to ASI and the ethical considerations and the impact that it could have on jobs. But I want to kind of get down to brass tacks here. You know, how is AI already changing things in the real world? Like, are we actually seeing these advancements play out in practical ways?
Oh, absolutely. AI isn't just some futuristic concept anymore. It's already woven into the fabric of our everyday lives, often in ways that we probably don't even realize. Healthcare, for instance. AI is being used to personalize treatment plans for patients.
Oh, wow.
And to predict patient outcomes, and even to create prosthetic limbs that can be controlled just by thought.
You know, I remember reading something about that.
Yeah.
An AI-powered system that could actually diagnose skin cancer.
Right.
With like greater accuracy than an actual human dermatologist.
It's pretty amazing.
It really is. It makes you think about all the potential there for early detection and intervention.
It's remarkable. And, you know, AI is also being used for drug discovery.
Oh, really?
Yeah, pharmaceutical companies are using AI to analyze massive data sets and to identify potential drug candidates, which is really accelerating the development of new treatments for all sorts of diseases.
So it's like AI isn't necessarily replacing doctors.
No, not at all.
It's more like it's augmenting their abilities and making healthcare more efficient and more effective.
Exactly. It's about freeing up those human doctors from all those really repetitive tasks.
Yeah.
So that they can focus on the more complex and nuanced aspects of patient care.
Yeah.
AI can handle all the data analysis, and it can identify patterns and provide insights that would just be impossible for a human to process on their own.
That's a really good point. So what about other industries?
Yeah.
Are we seeing this in like finance or transportation?
Oh, yeah. AI is transforming pretty much everything in finance, from fraud detection to investment management. You name it. Wow.
Algorithms are being used to analyze market trends, assess risk, and even provide personalized financial advice.
So even our personal finances are being touched by AI. I have to admit, I'm a little uneasy about that.
Really?
It makes me a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It feels like we're giving algorithms so much control over our lives.
I understand where you're coming from. I mean,
Okay.
it's totally natural to have some concerns about that.
Yeah.
But it's important to remember that humans are still the ones in control.
Right.
We design these algorithms, we set the parameters, and we ultimately make the decisions about how this technology is being used.
That's true. That's a really good point. It is easy to get caught up in all the hype and fear surrounding AI.
Yeah.
But like you said, it really is just a tool that we can choose to use responsibly.
Exactly. And we're already seeing a lot of responsible use happening in places like transportation.
Uh-huh.
I mean, think about the development of self-driving cars.
Oh, yeah.
It has the potential to revolutionize the way we get around,
Right.
reduce accidents, improve traffic flow, and make transportation more accessible for everyone. Yeah. I know there are still a lot of concerns about self-driving cars,
There are?
especially safety concerns,
Of course.
but I can definitely see the potential benefits.
Yeah.
Especially in terms of reducing all those traffic fatalities
Yeah.
and making it easier for people to get around if they're not able to drive themselves.
Absolutely. Those are really important considerations. And it's vital that we approach these developments really carefully, making sure that safety and ethics are prioritized every step of the way.
I agree.
But I think it's pretty clear that the potential for positive change is there.
I think so too. It seems like AI really has the power to solve some of the world's most pressing problems,
I agree.
if we can figure out how to harness it responsibly.
That's the key. If we can harness it responsibly, I think AI can be a powerful tool for good.
It can be.
But just like with any powerful tool, it can also be misused.
Right.
So it really is up to us to make sure that we're using it wisely and that we're going about it with a deep understanding of both its potential and its limitations.
This has been an incredible deep dive into the world of AI.
It has.
We've covered so much ground today, from the race to ASI and the ethical implications to all these real-world applications that are already transforming the way we live our lives. Yeah. What's the one key takeaway you want our listeners to walk away with today?
If I had to pick just one, it would be this. The AI revolution is happening right now. It's not some distant future scenario. It's unfolding all around us as we speak. And we all have a role to play in shaping what this future is going to look like by staying informed, by engaging in thoughtful conversations like the one we're having today, and by demanding that this technology is being developed responsibly.
I think that's a really powerful message. And I want to thank you so much for joining us on this journey today. I hope that this deep dive has given you a new perspective on the world of AI and its potential impact on all of our lives.
This is just the beginning of the conversation. And the world of AI is going to keep evolving. So it's up to all of us to stay engaged and keep asking questions and demand responsible development.
We'll be back soon with another deep dive into a different fascinating topic. But until then, stay curious and keep exploring.